Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotep. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. My name is Vicki Dillard. And I am a very proud contributor right here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com, the network for melanated people just like you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, beloved. Let me try to get this right on Instagram. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're so pleased that you have joined us today, and we want to welcome you for your war briefing today. Somebody talk black to me. I have an appointment to get to, so I can assure you that this one is going to be timely, us getting through this today. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Just a little bit of housekeeping before I give you your war briefing concerning this sheriff out of Michigan. I'm sure some of you all have heard about this plot, this white supremacist domestic terrorist plot to kidnap the Michigan governor. Now, I want to talk to you about that, but I also want to give you the latest on our dear little friend, Danny boy. We're going to get to him just very briefly. You all know we've been giving him the work nonstop for the past few weeks, whether I was on here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com or whether I was live on Your Black World TV or one of our affiliates with a replay. We're going to continue to give them this work, beloved. Shout out to you, Insta Black TV. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Says, talk black to us, Queen. You know I will, beloved. I'm going to be, won't be long, but I will be strong. And I assure you I won't, because I have an appointment. So anyway, family, be sure to come on in, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I know a lot of folks didn't know if I was going live today because I did not post in advance. I'm just now trying to let folks know on Instagram and Twitter that I am live now for your very brief war briefing. But as I just said, please come and giving us the thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and share. I want you to know that you can text the word Queens to 31996 so that you're able to receive phone notifications when we go live from time to time. Would you do that? Also, we want you to know that we have a school, a business school. If you want to learn how to build a black business, go to flynubianbusiness.com. And if you want to learn, if you want to connect yourself to a black-owned social media platform, go to blaggenuff.com. That's blaggenuff.com, BLAGGENUF.com. The link is in the chat. Keep in mind, throughout this broadcast, you will be seeing important links. Be sure to copy those and use them later. Shout out to you, MD Van Hale, Queen Vicky, and my black family. Thank you, beloved. I bow to you and the entire black family in the digital building. Dear family, without further ado, I've got to get right on to it. You all, just to give you the latest on Daniel Cameron, and then I'm going to briefly talk about that, and then I'm going to briefly discuss some antics of this sheriff, this white supremacist, a suspected white supremacist sheriff out there. Now let's get on into it. So I'm going to hit up two different things today, and I'll likely do some follow-up, inshallah, next week. Are you all hearing me? The governor of Michigan. The governor of Michigan, this white supremacist terrorist plot that was thwarted by law enforcement. I want to connect the dots with you on something here in our friend, Danny boy. God, today. Are y'all hearing me? Danny boy. That's what we get ready to talk about very briefly. Now watch this. Just so we can get him out the way. Let me see. I want to get this right. I want to get this right just so we can get him out the way. Just so we can get him out the way. Let me give you the latest on Dan Cameron, Attorney General Dan Cameron. Let's get this out the way. Okay? Let's deal with this real quick. Now, the latest. I mentioned this already briefly yesterday, but I just wanted to highlight something here. Right now, I'm reading to you from hold on, I didn't actually want to read to you from this particular one. That's from the Daily Mail, but I will if my other one doesn't pop right up. I had it set in place, but for some reason, oh yes, here it is. I apologize. Yes, I've got it right here in front of me. Okay, this I'm reading to you. WLKY. You all will remember. Y'all see it in the chat. I see y'all. I see y'all with the music. Oh, Danny boy. That's our friend. Thank you, Arthur, for saying I look beautiful. Thank you. But listen, Kentucky Attorney General files motion to keep Breonna Taylor grand jury proceedings secret due to precedent. Like I said, this is going to be a very, very short briefing today, dear family. So thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and share. I won't be before you long, but I will be strong. But I'm going to keep you updated with this. Dear family, I don't want you to be overwhelmed with this information. I don't want this to get old to you, because when you're dealing with war, it's a marathon. And we've determined to be in this for the long game. We're not just doing this to be cute. We're just not a black Twitter folk. We're not just somebody that's on social media. We believe in literally putting our money where our mouth is. We believe in black power. We give you solutions here that talks to you about black business, black money, actionable information that you can use to change the status of your life and your people. Shout out to you, Clarence. I bless your gift 1,000-fold, and all of you that are giving. I really appreciate you. Thank you, beloved. It's my privilege. So this is important. I don't want you to ever get wearied by these sorts of things, because you need to be updated. And I want to encourage us to continue to go and to be informed, right? I'm going to get into that suspected white supremacist sheriff out of Michigan in just a few minutes. But first, I'm starting with I want to highlight a couple of things I mentioned to you yesterday about our friend Daniel Cameron. Now, as I was saying, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a motion in Jefferson County Circuit Court to keep secret most of the investigative files in the Breonna Taylor case presented to a grand jury. Now, I've got another article that I have prompted here that I was reading, and this is important, the language that this particular piece is discussing. Shout out to our moderators in the digital building. By the way, we want you to know that Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Claude Anderson have this amazing mastermind coming up on October 15th. Powernomicsmasterclass.com. Powernomicsmasterclass.com. You all know that this is going to be life-changing. Again, these are some of the best minds that's going to give you insight, a strategy on what you can do to change your reality and the reality of your people. So that link is in the chat. Anyway, let me keep going. I've got just a few minutes, and I want to give you this war briefing and move on very quickly. Thank you, Roberto, for your gifts. Watch this. Notice the last part, what it says here. It says that he's trying to do what? To keep secret most of the investigative files. Of course, really the whole nature of the grand jury is that, but it's important, the language, and I want you to keep that in mind. He's trying to keep secret the investigative files. Now, I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about that in terms of my own particular case. And notwithstanding the fact that pre-trial motions were filed to dismiss for selective prosecution and all kinds of lies and fraud that the government put together. Notwithstanding the unjust couple of weeks long trial, notwithstanding the subsequent appeals that were filed, throughout the entire process, The judge in my case refused to force the government, the prosecution, to turn over to me all of my discovery. To this day, I don't have it. They were hiding something. When the branches, the different branches of government, purports to be fair arbiters, then that means that if they believe that they have sound footing to bring a case, they should not be hiding any discovery, any information, or the basis for which they made their decision to investigate and to file charges. Now, I managed to still get some important information because they included some sloppily redacted documents in some of the discovery that I got. Tens of thousands of documents, literally tens of thousands of documents. But the judge throughout the process, and to this day, she refused to force the prosecution to turn over all of my discovery. That lets you know that your government is shady, shoddy, unjust, and white supremacist, and they are engaged in lynchings, especially of Black people. Other than social security numbers, other than maybe a physical address, and even that may be even up for it because according to law, you have the right. There's some information that has to be turned over. Nobody gets to impose on your life and have the power to completely and totally alter it and your freedom and then tell you they're going to withhold information. You don't get to do that. Not in an alleged democracy. But we know that America is faking the funk anyway about this being a real democracy. But I digress. Thumbs up, family. Keep liking and sharing. Those investigative documents are important. And that's what he wants to keep secret. Watch this. Let me keep moving. Cameron had until Wednesday to file a response to a motion by one of the grand jurors to release all the records in the probe. The unidentified individual adding that releasing the proceedings will help make sure the truth will help make sure the truth got out about the decision in the case. The grand juror's report was released on September 23rd. After it was read, Cameron held a news conference to explain more about the decision on charges and question answers. Now, we know he lied, right? That's clear. We know that he lied. The grand juror busted him because he gave the impression, thank you, Malcolm Russell, for your cash app. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. He faked the funk in that press conference and told us that the grand jury is the one that declined to bring basically homicide charges against all the other officers or any of the officers, right? He said that they only brought back a bill for what? That 1-ton endangerment. And then we later found out after the jurors filed court documents and the judge agreed to grant their request to have information released related to the grand jury, we found out that, oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside was lying. He only gave them the option of the 1-ton endangerment. And he felt confident lying to the public, lying to us, because he knew that those proceedings were secretive. You see? I digress. Let's keep going. Thumbs up, family. Keep liking and sharing. Watch this. But it says, but much of the scrutiny and criticisms Cameron received about the case, he shifted to the grand jury, watch this, y'all hear that? But much of the scrutiny and criticisms Cameron received about the case, he shifted to the grand jury. You see? So the grand jury said, oh, no, baby. Grand jury said, no, you sat up there and comfortably lied to the people because you knew that there was no way that they would really find out the details. Now keep listening. telling the public that all evidence was presented to the jurors and that those proceedings will remain secret as is normally done with cases involving a grand jury. Cameron reiterated that stance Wednesday when he filed the motion to uphold the law and well-established legal precedent in the Commonwealth that proceedings and testimony before a grand jury remain secret. Now watch this. Watch this. Again, this is a very brief war briefing. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit or educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Our only problem, Lil Danny, boy, our only problem is what you publicly said before you filed this motion. You sat down for an interview at WDRB. I want you all to listen to some of the audio for just a moment.
Asked responses to those questions, witnesses provided during the grand jury process. What our concern institutionally was that this might ultimately chill future grand jury proceedings. We don't want that. I certainly, again, recognize the public interest in this case. And so we're going to abide by the court's requirement that we make these recordings public. But again, we certainly don't want to do anything that's going to hamper the FBI investigation, but we'll defer to them on that front. Before we
The reporter's mic is very muffled. The sound by the reporter is terrible, but I'll try to translate if necessary. Watch. Thumbs up, family. On the count of 3, for those of you that haven't hit that thumbs up button, would you? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Let's talk about the fact that one of the grand juries has filed a lawsuit. I'm very pointed what this grand jury has said. In the document, it says,
I'm going to translate the reporter's question because his sound is terrible. But he's talking about the grand juror that filed the motion.
You're using the grand jurors as a shield to reflect accountability and responsibility for these decisions. Let's say you.
So basically, right there, he's telling them he's reading, quoting the juror, and their reason for wanting Daniel Cameron to be transparent about what actually happened. Shout out to you, Joanne, for your gift. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Queen, you inspire me, and you are definitely anointed by God. Thank you. I truly appreciate your wisdom. You're so sweet. I bless your gift 1,000-fold, Joanne. Watch his response.
Well, look, a grand juror is certainly entitled to say whatever they want to, but we were recognizing the fact that grand jury proceedings are secret. The grand jury is an independent body. But I'm not afraid of any judgments or recommendations.
That's what he said last week. Oh, Danny Boy last week was acting like he was a tough man, talking about, you know what, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm not worried about, listen.
Made as it relates to this office, we presented all of the facts that we uncovered.
We know that's a lie. You didn't.
In this investigation. The fact of the matter is we're confident in the presentation that we put forth. Whether this grand jury speaks out or not, that's of their own accord and own volition. I don't have anything to do with that specifically. We're very confident in the presentation that we put forward. Weren't hiding in any way as it relates to accountability. Again, we were just simply honoring the tradition.
Now, y'all hear him lying right there? He's so confident. He's real confident in their presentation, right?
Of keeping the confidentiality of grand jury proceedings. Now that information is going to be made public, we're happy to discuss, and I'm obviously happy to talk about the details.
Listen to what he said a week ago. He said, now that information is being made public. What did he say?
Are you concerned? Information that we provided the grand jury. Look, I will remind you, this wasn't a quick grand jury. This was 2.5 days for them to hear from witnesses, hear testimony, as we see it, as it relates to the release of this information. But ultimately, we are going to comply with the court's order and requirement that we produce the recordings here.
Did you all hear that? We're going to comply with the court's order to produce the recordings. We're going to comply with the court's order. All this other kind of stuff, right? He was giving him the impression. This is a longer interview. I'm not going to let you listen to too much more of this.
Any concern on your part about what the public may hear from his reporting?
Now, the reporter right there just asked him, are you concerned about what the public may hear with these recordings?
No, we're fully confident in the presentation that we put forward. At the end of the day, it was our responsibility to uncover the truth. I know the truth sometimes will make people uncomfortable. Some in the public had already made a determination about where they wanted to see this case conclude without all of the facts. It was this office's responsibility to find those facts and then have that lead to the conclusions as it relates to the grand jury process. We obviously went in again with the responsibility of providing that information. We did so, made judgments as it relates to what was ultimately the responsible indictment to put forth in front of the grand jury. And I am fully confident in the process that we undertook and all of the information that we provided the grand jury.
Look, now, enough of this liar. Okay, you heard him for yourself talk about how confident they are, how he's looking forward to complying with the judge's order. Well, right after he's said all that last week, right, I just wanted to remind you, I wanted you all to hear with your own ears that that's what he said. If that's the case, fella, then why is it now you're saying this? Why is it now that you're filing this court motion in order to keep secret most of the investigative files in the Breonna Taylor case? If everything is on the up and up, why are you trying to keep it secret, Daniel? I know I discussed some of this yesterday, but I'm just giving you a little briefing on it. I want to keep that before your eyes and ears. Now keep listening. This is what's so fascinating, y'all. He said in response, as I've stated prior, I have no concerns with the grand jurors sharing their thoughts or opinions about me and my office's involvement in the matter involving the death of Ms. Breonna Taylor. However, I have concerns with the grand jurors seeking to make anonymous and unlimited disclosures about the grand jury proceedings. The grand jury process is secretive for a reason, to protect the safety and anonymity of all the grand jurors, witnesses, and innocent persons involved in the proceedings. Allowing this disclosure would irreversibly alter Kentucky's legal system by making it difficult for prosecutors and the public to have confidence in the secrecy of the grand jury process going forward. Why would anybody be worried about that? Their concern, family, is they, meaning the prosecutors and the DA's office and stuff, what they're really concerned about is if you get some insight into what happened in this Breonna Taylor case, you will understand just how easy it is for them to set people up. Somebody talk black to me. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. They don't want you to see what they do to set people up. That's all. I'm not going to give you any technical legal jargon or legalese to explain what they're talking about. That's what that's about. They are concerned about if you get an insight, if you get a sneak peek into how your government is supposed to work. Whose government? They don't trust your own intelligence. No, in fact, they do trust that you may be intelligent enough to draw the right conclusions, to say they're able to do any and everything that they want to bring charges against somebody. That's what the concern is. The concern cannot be the secrecy of other jurors. You know why? Because the judge can order that information be redacted or held back. It's a reason he said this last part, family. Watch this. Of the quote. He invoked this. He says, Kentucky's allowing this disclosure would irreversibly alter Kentucky's legal system by making it difficult for prosecutors and the public to have confidence in the secrecy of the grand jury process going forward. We as Americans are simply saying, why does that need to be secret? The preliminary hearings aren't often secret. The trials aren't secret. The sentencings aren't secret. They don't want you to get insight into their devilment, family. Let me tell you something. Keep listening. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Keep liking and sharing. My name is Vicki Dillard. I'm typically here weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on FlyNewbianQueenTV.com. I know I didn't give most folks notice I was coming today, and we're just now getting back on our schedule for the past few days, but we're so pleased that you have joined us today. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that you hit receive all notifications, so that way when myself or one of the other sisters goes live, you will be notified when they send out the notifications. Thank you so much. By the way, if you're watching us on one of our other platforms, please like, please share, please follow. It says, additionally, Cameron and his office are taking issue with the grand juror calling for all pieces of the proceedings to be released. The attorney general adding that the grand juror, quote, does not seek to limit the scope of his or her disclosures. This type of broad and unchecked disclosure could jeopardize not only witnesses and other grand jurors, but also listen to this part. This is what I'm getting ready to attack before I tell you about this white supremacist sheriff in Michigan. Getting your war briefing today. He says, this type of broad and unchecked disclosure could jeopardize not only witnesses and other grand jurors, but also set a dangerous legal precedent for future grand juries. Watch this. Cameron brought up 2 legal proceedings for his reason for filing the motion to keep the grand jury proceeding secret. The attorney for the grand jury issued this response. I wanted to emphasize the last part on this. When he said this type of broad and unchecked disclosure could jeopardize not only witnesses and other grand jurors, listen to this part. He says, but it also, he said in other grand jurors, but also set a dangerous legal precedent for future grand juries. That's what he's trying to get the judge to move on. Now the judge has set a hearing on it. So now that he's filed this motion, the judge has set a hearing coming up in a few days. Watch this. Pay attention to this last part. Once again, Danny boy, Dan Cameron, says what? This type of broad and unchecked disclosure could jeopardize not only witnesses and other grand jurors, which we know that's a lie, but also set a dangerous legal precedent for future grand juries. You hear that? You've got to understand that the way that the white supremacists work, these systems of oppression, they work in secrecy. Somebody talk black to me. These systems of oppression, but they work in secrecy with the veil of legitimacy. They look official because they have on the state seals and stuff. They in official offices. The people dress up in 2- and 3-piece suits. They have offices. You can Google the office and you'll find it pop up. They have secretaries and stuff. Watch this. He invoked that to the court to say future grand juries could be put at risk because they do not want true transparency for your government. And there was a reason for that. A couple of the things that I want to note, and now I'm getting ready to shift after I tell you this. This is very important that I need you to understand this. Some of you may not be used to this language. When he says it's going to set a dangerous legal precedent, the point is that when courts make certain decisions, they set a pattern, in other words, that other courts, other judges may follow. They don't want the standard. They don't want the norm to be transparency. Somebody talk black to me. Now I want you to hear this. He invoked the word precedent or pattern as a trick. Listen to the things that I'm going to tell you here. When someone says by granting this juror's request, is going to set a dangerous precedent for future grand juries, family. He's telling the judge, in other words, think what this is going to do in the future for us being able to comfortably do what we need to do without oversight. He did not say that doing this will prevent us from reaching justice. This is a trick that the court uses all the time when they refer to other laws. They refer to previous precedent or previous decisions or how they normally do things. Procedure. Are y'all hearing me? Let me tell you something, and this is what I used to argue before courts in civil cases without training and without an attorney representing me. If following precedent, they use that as an excuse to not get to the truth in your case. They use those phrases so that they don't reach the merits of your case. If the courts have to actually look at your facts and your evidence, they know they're in trouble. They know that the prosecutors and the attorneys that are always in their courts, they know they'll be in trouble. So this is the court's way of protecting them. They know that if they don't invoke these legal tricks, are what they are, y'all. They know that the police officers that are regularly in their courts, that they're friends and buddies with, they know they'll be put at risk. So that it doesn't even make it on the record. Because once something is on the record, then you know you can point to it. So before any of your facts, your information, your evidence, your discovery, before any of that can make it on the record, before any kind of testimony can get on the record, they prevent it through all of these formal and technical procedures, which are nothing but legal tricks. Hoops they make you jump through. They impose secret timelines on things when certain things need to be filed. Some courts are so technical, especially in federal court. Do you know that it depends on the judge, a certain judge, if you don't file a motion or a brief in a certain way using a certain font? Each federal judge has a unique font, size of font, a certain coding system that's unique to their particular court, not even just federal courts across the board. But if you don't even follow those kinds of technical rules in terms of font size, y'all talk black to me. If you didn't double space, I lie not to you. Most of you don't know this because you live in your life and you're not realizing these are the tricks that they do in your government that's allegedly a democracy. You think that it's enough to have the truth. God, today. You think it's enough for you to have facts on your side and evidence. You got to have tricks. Somebody talk back to me in America's court system. Y'all play too much. Thumbs up, family. Keep liking and sharing. This is your very brief war brief. I got a few more minutes. I told you I have an appointment to go to, but I didn't want to just not show up today. So I want to give you the latest on this Dan Cameron. And then I want to let you listen to something from this white supremacist sheriff out of Michigan. And this attempted kidnapping that was thwarted by law enforcement concerning white supremacists. I'm going to tell you what that means. But listen. Back to this legal jargon, because that's why they didn't like your sister. Your sister was not only out there as an activist and a demonstrator. The moment I shifted, me being before big banks and Wall Street and doing this kind of stuff, the moment I shifted to go inside the courts and to actually hold certain officials accountable, when I was told by high-profile attorneys that if you go after this individual, I'm not going to be able to represent you. The moment your sister says no judge that operates outside of their official capacity gonna skirt. Gonna get by. The moment I decided to go after two things, Wall Street and utilizing the legal system, that's the moment, baby, that they tried to put a target on your sister's back. Somebody talk black to me. Those are areas that the white supremacists dominate. And when you think to even approach these spaces, they are looking at you and saying, how dare you? They said to themselves as I was coming in, who is this little girl? Who does she think she is? They don't mind you just being in the streets screaming and stuff. That's what upset and angered them about me. And when you are a prophetic and a spiritual person, and your gifts are operating in these diabolical spaces, you see what's underneath the obvious. God put me in spaces that when I first walked through some of the doors, I didn't even know anything. And then as I was there on the spot, Spirit revealed stuff and I said it on the record and it ticked people off. Let me keep going. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Keep liking and sharing. I bless your gifts 1,000-fold. I'm apologizing that I don't see all your things, but I got to get ready to give you a very brief war briefing today. Listen, I'm sorry I didn't give any advance notice that I was coming on today. But anyway, the right people at the right time will hear this broadcast. Keep liking and sharing, family. My name is Vicki Dillard. I'm typically here weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Listen, what I want you to know. Remember, I just told you a few seconds ago what? I just told you a few seconds ago that Daniel Cameron wrote in a brief to the court. This is going to set a dangerous precedent. In other words, we don't want anybody else doing this. If you open up this crack, if you give them just if you put a crack in this legal door, it's going to have a flood of average citizens thinking they have the right to know what we're doing. Y'all play too much. Daniel Cameron used that phrase. And don't forget, Daniel Cameron has a whole legal team that's working with him. It's in the best interest of all of those that worked in his office that preceded him and those that are coming after him to push this. That's the reason why I told you how dangerous it was when some of you bones and biscuits are willing to give your life for white supremacy. They're going to hang that noose around your neck when push comes to shove. Slowness. And you will have deserved it for selling out your people, for being a traitor. Listen, these are my notes. These are things that I jotted just before I came on about that legal language that he used about it setting a dangerous precedent. Watch this. If following precedent, remember, he made that one of the big issues in his motion. Dan Cameron told the judge it's going to set a dangerous legal precedent if you do this, right? It's going to set a dangerous pattern of accountability for us. If following precedent, family, as Cameron told the court, if following precedent fails to address the current grievance, the current injustice that's at issue. Oh, baby, I'm helping you with legal language today. I'm not an attorney. Let that be clear. I don't teach. I haven't taken anybody's bar. None of that. I'm telling you as a sister and as an American citizen who has utilized the court system many years ago and realized that it was tricks. And it ain't got nothing to do with justice and it ain't got nothing to do with us. I love you back, Gerald. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, family. Listen. If following precedent, like the judges allowed the prosecutor to get away with, and the attorney generals and other similar folks that are able and that have the power to bring charges, listen, if they say it sets a legal precedent and that's what makes these disclosures dangerous, listen to me. If following precedent, family, fails to address the current grievance or matter at issue. Somebody put at issue in the chat. AT-issue. That's a phrase that they use in court when I was in court all the time. At issue. the thing that's at hand. If following family, the precedent, in other words, the way they normally do stuff. That's what Daniel Cameron is telling the judge. Your Honor, we don't normally do this. That's what he's saying. They're saying that if you deviate from how we normally do things, that's going to set a dangerous example. And it's going to open up a door for justice and accountability from regular people. We can't afford that. My thing, and this is what I would tell the courts all the time when I was in court, representing myself, pro se, they didn't like me for that. One of the things I would always tell them, I didn't know about all that, because no matter how much study you doing, especially if you are a person that's just trying to get justice and you've got a short amount of time to file your grievance or to file your complaint or to make your issues known, there are deadlines that they impose upon you. And then I was working on this particular case here, but I was working on several other issues there. You understand what I'm saying? In different courts for different things. Pay attention. It's only so much research that you can do, so much understanding that you can do, so much technology you can catch up on before another deadline is imposed on you. Watch this. When these courts, when these judges allow folk to get away with precedent, if following precedent fails to address the current grievance or the matter at issue, forget the precedent. Who cares about how you normally do things if following precedent does not address the matter at issue? Why would you even invoke precedent? Do you understand that? These are things that all levels of government, all levels of courts deal with, family. I don't care if you're talking about local, state, federal, the Supreme Court. I've been there a few times, filing writs and going back and forth and having not even prevailed in those instances, but I know what it means to initiate such things and just a little bit about the initial process. They love to rely on this is not how we normally do things. Whenever you hear a court say precedent, they're telling you this ain't how we do stuff normally. And you as a citizen, when you're able to blow past the tricks and the BS and you say, okay, but if precedent is not addressing the issue and the grievance that I'm bringing to you right now, why are you invoking that as an excuse not to address or to look into or to scrutinize or properly judge the matter that I'm bringing to your funny looking self? Don't you ever forget these. This is your government. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Here's another thing I want you to keep in mind. And I'm trying to expose these tricks. I know about that word precedent. The other thing that I wanted to tell you, family. Let's just say, Daniel Cameron, okay, this is going to set you're worried that this could set a dangerous precedent and deviate from the pattern or the norms of the court, right? This may open up a floodgate of other people coming in, turning around saying, hey, I want to know what happened in this grand jury over here. I want to know what happened in that. It can set a dangerous precedent because if somebody is sitting up in prison right now, y'all, for an unjust 15-year sentence, 20-year sentence, and they find out that some shady things that's going on in the grand jury that initiated the charges in the first place, they don't want you to go back to look into that. A taste of Remy. I just found you on Facebook last month and I'll share you with all my friends and family. Just wanted to say we love what you're doing for us. I love you back and thank you so much, beloved. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Y'all listen to me. I got to have you to understand the reason why they didn't like your sister. I got to get you to understand why your sister was involved and engaged and interfacing with these high-powered officials. I didn't know all the words. I didn't do all the training. I didn't have time for that. When you're dealing with an injustice and you got a couple of weeks to research and to do this, and you got a lot on your plate, and you may lose everything, and you're trying to keep everything balanced, beloved. Your sister went in there with a spirit. Y'all play too much. Even when I said it wrong, they heard it right. Somebody talk black to me. Now I'm sure some of them are watching me and they're in my court right now. And the high court of God is getting ready to not. He ain't done with y'all yet. Study Psalm 35. Y'all play too much. Listen. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, family. Keep liking and sharing. Don't forget, October 15th, Dr. Boyce Watkins and the great Dr. Boyce Watkins and our legend, Dr. Claude Anderson, are getting ready to do a powerful Powernomics mastermind. You don't want to miss it. The link will be in the chat. October 15th, family. So you want to get registered. You want to get signed up for that. The link will be in the chat in just a moment. Now let me keep going here because I only got a few more minutes. Watch this. Watch this. The link is in the chat. Thank you so much for putting it there. Powernomicsmastermind.com. I'm sorry, Powernomicsmasterclass.com. Powernomicsmasterclass.com. Listen. Let's say that Daniel Cameron is right, that it may set a dangerous precedent if the judge allows this to happen. That means that other courts, that means that if the judge makes this decision, that means a regular person like you or I, or if you have legal representation, guess what they get to do? They'll be able to use your case, which is known as case law, and they'll be able to quote you. There are cases where, let's say, Dillard versus so-and-so, so-and-so. They'll be able to quote your case as a reason why the judge must allow certain things to happen for you if you were to go back and demand that something, a grand jury proceeding be opened up for you. You see? They don't want that to happen. That gives you power. Again, this is your government. This ain't theirs. But listen, if Daniel Cameron is right, then it may set, quote unquote, a dangerous precedent for other grand jury proceedings. Then the judge, every judge that will hear someone's request to open up grand juries, they can use their judgment and make a decision and a determination whether or not it's just, it's dangerous, or it reveals too much on a case-by-case basis. You see? The judge should use their wisdom. You're a judge for a reason. It's implied in the word judge that you're somehow intelligent, judicious, and have the capacity to properly judge and be a fair arbiter. What we need to worry about a freaking precedent for when every time a particular request is made, the judge is supposed to use their intelligence and make a decision on a case-by-case situation anyway. You see the tricks, y'all? But I'm going to tell you what it's really about. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. Daniel Cameron and his team knows what they're doing when they're invoking this because they probably know who the judge is too. Y'all play too much. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Oh, Vicky is giving you the secrets of your government. He knows what he's doing by invoking that. It's going to set a dangerous precedent for future grand juries. But that ain't the only reason why he invoked that particular language. He ain't worried about that. No, he's not worried about that at all. The issue is that let me say this, enough officers of the court, folk that are involved in the court proceedings, they're known as officers of the court. The attorneys and so forth, they're known as officers of the court. They know the judge. Some of them were probably prosecutors with the judge, went to law school with them, have buddies and friends with the judge before they were made judges. More than that, they know that there are too many other cases, there are too many other circumstances and situations where that judge and others help to cover up things. They know that that particular judge or someone close to that judge, or they may have been involved in a case where they know it may have been some malfeasance going on with some of those attorneys and judges. And so this is their way of saying, wait a minute now, if you do this, what if they go pull up a case that you were involved in? Y'all play too much. I'm telling you the details. Sometimes the judges do things to hook up somebody else because they know they screwed up or they did something shady in another circumstance, in another case. So they have each other's back. So it's a web of injustice that you're trying to get through. And you don't understand, it's not making any sense. And you see that you got the truth. You followed all the rules to the best of your knowledge. You crossed every T, dotted every I. But some of the stuff that they do anyway is because they have each other's back, because the other one knows some dirt that the other one did. Y'all play too much. Or they find that they're going to need one of the other ones. They're going to be useful at another time. Do you understand that's what's happening? So when it's not making sense, while they're not ruling like they should and acting as they should, it's because they themselves, before they became judges, they were once prosecutors. They were an officer of the court. They know what shady stuff some of them were involved in. And they are on code judicially with each other. Are y'all understanding this? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. The other thing I want you to know about the language that Daniel Cameron used is this, about the dangerous precedent that he said. Remember what I tell you, when he's saying he's concerned about a dangerous precedent, he's telling the judge, don't deviate from how we normally do stuff because it's going to uncover how illegitimate we really are. Because of the high profile nature of the case, you guys, and because of the public nature and interest, this is what makes this case different. That's a standard that the Supreme Court tends to use. The Supreme Court picks, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5% of all cases, all requests, all writs that come before it. Somewhere thereabout. Very, 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 very low percentage. I need to research the latest. Very few cases that the Supreme Courts choose. And they claim that they make the decision on what case they pick. It depends on how many constituents or American citizens that it may involve or impact. If it's in the public interest, it has to be something on that level for the Supreme Court to decide if they're going to choose your case. Are y'all hearing me? Now listen, I'm giving y'all some details. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not giving legal advice. I want to make that disclaimer. And the other thing I want to say, the thoughts and opinions that are expressed by me are those of my own and not necessarily those of the network or our affiliates. But I'm telling you, this is my assessment as an American citizen going in and out of these courts and dealing with them and engaging with them. It's tricks. Watch this. Which is the reason why they're telling you, I'll say this on the side, which is the reason they're telling you that now you understand why Mitch McConnell is doing everything in his power to flood the courts with a certain type of judge or individual to sit on the courts to make these decisions, because they're more powerful really than presidents. They're more powerful than really anybody else. But see, the Democrats think that that's enough for black folk to vote for them, and it's not. Still reparations. I have some ideas on what to do related to the judges that Mitch McConnell already has on the bench. And I'm not talking about just with the Supreme Court. I've got some ideas about reining their funny looking selves in. But I'm not going to get ready to give Democrats and the government all these beautiful, brilliant ideas when you won't even give us justice. You better go sit your funny looking self down. You don't get to tell us no and give us a proverbial middle finger and think we're supposed to just give you all the ideas to level up. And we still get nothing out of it. Watch this. The other thing is, I put down here, we're seeing rampant injustice. So but we're seeing so much rampant injustice. Yes, we're seeing so much rampant injustice. So we know coming in saying that it's a dangerous precedent for us is a non-starter. In other words, that dog won't hunt. But let me go further. We're demanding transparency in every and all branches of this alleged democracy, which is supposed to be ours. I hope the juror really pushes that. Watch this. The other thing that I want to suggest that the judge do, just like I played for you a few minutes ago. Oh, Danny boy. Just like I just played for you. He said that he ain't scared of nothing and he's willing to comply with the release of this information. And then that was last week, and then all of a sudden he filed this motion to try to silence the juror, so that the juror doesn't bust his likely criminal activity. Y'all hear me today? Shout out to you because I said so. That's my sister. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam to you. Assalamu alaikum, Empress. Your angels are in full force every night. My son is in fun mode when you're on. Oh, bless him. I bless him, bless him, bless him. Oh, what a privilege. Thank you so much. Y'all listen. If I were the judge, in addition to all of the things that I said, where the judge can make it clear this won't set a dangerous precedent, because each judge can make a case-by-case assessment. Plus, judges know how to make rulings to where they can put all kinds of tricks in there. In other words, even if somebody else wanted to use that particular case as a case law or a form of precedent for their own case, the judge can impose certain qualifications and stipulations. That's the word. The judge can impose all kinds of stipulations within their own order that certain things need to be met in order for them to determine for future cases, or even in their case, whether or not certain grand jury information should be released. The judges know how to put inside the case law in order for them to make this decision. They have to jump through, in other words, a bunch of hoops, these particular standards and stipulations before they're even able to be released. Are y'all hearing me today? Certain stipulations, a certain standard, certain things that have to be met before they can release it. All of these are things that they can do and still release pertinent information that we need to know. Watch this. If I were the judge, in addition to all of those things that the judge can do, the judge can order appropriate redactions. The judge can do some of the things that I just said a few minutes ago, but the other thing that the judge can do, the judge ought to use Daniel Cameron's own words against him when he was in those interviews, making the rounds all over the place. When you said, you don't fear anything. You are fully confident in the full presentation that you gave the grand jurors. That black reporter asked you over and over and over again, do you fear this? Do you fear that? Are you concerned about what's going to? You said, no, I'm not worried about that at all. So the judge needs to say what, General Cameron, that's what they call the attorney generals. They refer to them actually as generals. General Attorney Cameron was a top cop for the Commonwealth. You came right out when this initially happened and said that you didn't have anything to worry about. There were no concerns. And because I'm going to order appropriate and necessary redactions in terms of not disclosing other grand jurors who don't want to be disclosed, we shouldn't have a problem, right, General? Somebody talk black to me. I'm trying to get you all to understand the high level of sophisticated white supremacy tactics that happen. Shout out to you, Erica. Much love, Queen. You teach and you reach. We love you. I love you back. I'm trying to get y'all to understand that. Now that I've said enough about that, I don't want to go any further with this funny looking stuff. I'll keep you updated on that. I gave you a little bit about insight on my own situation. Baby, more is to come. I told you somebody else down the road is chomping at the bit to tell my story. So I piecemeal certain information to protect the guilty. Somebody talk black to me. Y'all hit that thumbs up button and make sure that you follow me on Instagram at VickyXDill. That's right, because I said it's so funny looking stuff. Y'all know it's funny looking stuff. Now I want to show you the latest. Let me show you the latest. Well, make me pull out that uncanny resemblance now. With love says, keep teaching. Thank you, beloved. And I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Don't make me do it. Shout out to Lisa Cabrera for this photo. The word. Uncanny resemblance. Picture speaks for itself. There ain't no reason for me to go further. Anyway, I told you this has to be a very short briefing, but I want to share this latest with you. How many of you all heard about them foiling a white supremacist terrorist. Y'all play too much. How many of y'all heard about them foiling an attempt, a white supremacist domestic terrorist attack recently on the Michigan governor? How many of y'all heard about that? Just a few details, not much, because this is only one thing I'm gonna show you, because I'm gonna follow up next week on this. But I wanted to give you the latest on this. I'm gonna give you the latest. Here's Governor Whitmer. You can't really see her face too good on that picture. I'm reading from USA Today. And I'm trying to hurry. That's Governor Whitmer. She calls them domestic terrorists. Watch this. Thank you for putting that link in the chat, Dual. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said Friday that the men charged with plotting to kidnap her and storm the state capitol should be referred to as domestic terrorists and not members of any militia. Now, who been calling them terrorists and race soldiers for a long, very long time, family? Who's been rightly calling these white supremacist terrorists for a long time now? Who's been the one doing it? They're domestic terrorists endangering and intimidating their fellow Americans. Words matter, the governor said in a tweet. Well, you all, there's a lot more there. I'm going to unpack it next week, right? I'm going to unpack it next week. I only wanted to give you an update on this just so you could hear this. And then I'm going to leave this with you and just let that simmer in your spirit. Watch this. I already read the Copyright Act of 1976. This is a piece coming out from...
And into him at some of these rallies. He said they've always...
This is a reporter out of Fox 17.
A fair trial.
Michael and William Null
Watch this.
The first charge Thursday for their alleged roles in the plot to
this is them.
Gretchen Whitmer.
These are a couple of the first charge. Now, that ain't what I want you to see. We'll deal the details later. Forget them right now. Forget those that they have in custody, the ones that are actually accused of this. I want you to listen to the sheriff.
Leaf, a guest speaker at the event. We spoke with Sheriff Leaf Thursday night.
Well, I haven't read everything up on it.
Let me get back to it. I'm not going to show you the video, but I want you to see his funny looking self. Look, that's the fella that's talking. That's the sheriff, okay? You can smell outside from a distance. Can't y'all smell some outside? Can anybody smell outside right now? Keep that image in mind if you can, and if you're not, devastated in doing so. Listen to him. This is the sheriff. Listen.
I've got other duties to do. We'll see this coming with those guys, but everything up on it.
You can see William Null on stage alongside Barry County Sheriff Dar Leaf, a guest speaker at the event. We spoke with Sheriff Leaf Thursday night.
Well, I haven't read everything up on it.
Just real quick, the sheriff was there at an event with a couple of the guys, the white supremacist terrorists.
I've got other duties to do. It wasn't our investigation. So I was shocked. I did not see this coming with those guys, but still, we can't convict them in the news media here. They do have a right to a fair trial.
Leaf says he doesn't know of Null's alleged involvement in the plot and doesn't have any regrets about sharing a stage with him.
Do you have any regrets from being on stage, sharing a stage with the guy who's now being charged in a plot to...
This white supremacist sheriff, suspected white supremacist sheriff, got video footage of him up there with those other white supremacists there. Look at him, y'all. Look at him. Listen to what he says. They said, do you have any regrets being on stage with him?
Well, it's just a charge, and they say a plot to kidnap. And you got to remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor, and they want her arrested. So are they trying to arrest, or was it a kidnap attempt?
Did you all hear that white supremacist sheriff say that? He said, was it a kidnapping, or were they just trying to arrest her? People that are not deputies, people that are not law enforcement. That's what he's saying about them. Look, I ain't trying to be unfeeling with this white woman, because this issue, while we're bringing this up, God bless her, but I don't want nothing to happen to the lady, but I'm not here to worry about whether or not they snatch up her. No disrespect. I don't want nobody hurt. Let's be clear. But she ain't my priority like that. You feel me? I'm exposing this because this lady is telling you that these guys are white supremacists. They're domestic terrorists. She's saying it because she's scared for her life. She's known for a long time they was going to try to kill her. And a lot of this was initiated because of Donald Trump. When he said liberate Michigan, he activated these fools. And they were mad when she imposed the basic restrictions because of COVID-19. They're mad at this white woman because they want her to know that when we get ready to unleash all of our racism, when we start this race war, when we elevate this race war, when we escalate this race war, we don't want you to be in our way. And you already showing signs, Gretchen Whitmore, this is the mind of the white supremacists, this is how they feel. You already showing signs that you're going to be a problem because you already imposing restrictions and stuff for COVID-19. Do you all understand that? Do you all understand that Michigan has a very long history of these white supremacists that have been able to be activated all in public and nobody did anything about it? I gotta go. Listen to the last part.
Because you can still
listen.
Leaf says he doesn't know of Null's alleged involvement in the plot and doesn't have any regrets about sharing a stage with him.
Do you have any regrets from being on stage, sharing a stage with the guy who's now being charged in a plot to kidnap the governor?
Well, it's just a charge. And they say a plot to kidnap. And you got to remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor and they want her.
He said a lot of people are angry with the governor. He said, are they trying to kidnap or were they trying to arrest him?
Arrested. So are they trying to arrest or was it a kidnap attempt? Because you can still, in Michigan, if it's a felony, you can make a felony arrest. And I think it's MCL 764.4 or something like that.
Do you hear that white supremacists say that they can make arrests? The reason why I'm showing you guys this is because you funny looking slow Negroes that are out there throwing your own people on the bus. You guys talk worse about Bill Cosby. You guys talk worse about Michael Jackson than all the rest of folks do. And when something go down with white people, they call him Mr. President. Mr. President that credibly raped other people, that's a racist and did all kinds of stuff, stole from people, is responsible for almost a dozen abortions just for women that he knocked up and then claiming that he's pro-life. They call him Mr. President. And then you got this guy here giving these white supremacists the benefit of the doubt.
Somewhere on there.
And then you throw your people under the bus with your slow self. You don't defend your people. You sit there talking about like black on black crime and you saying all kind of just crazy stuff while these white supremacists are out there. We got the footage, we got all the evidence, we got all the information. Even the governor herself was calling these people that the feds got some snitches on them, and that's how they busted them in the first place. And the sheriff, I said the sheriff said, are they trying to kidnap her or arrest her? But y'all don't want to go for your own. And the condition that black folks are in, we're in this because of your open enemy. Sit your funny looking self down. Now you understand why I always give mine the benefit of the doubt. But that ain't right. R. Kelly and them, Michael Jackson and stuff, Bill Cosby, shut up with your slow self. Want to act like the playing field for us is level and even. And we got a 465-year gap between us. And the horrible black folks that's in our community were made that way by our open enemy. This sheriff is proving to you that it's a war. Listen.
And it doesn't say if you're a 5 somewhere on there. And it doesn't say if you're an elected office that you're exempt from that arrest. So I have to look at it from that.
He said it don't say if you're in elected office, you're exempted from that arrest. He said it about the governor. He said it don't matter if she's a governor. She may not be exempted from that arrest. Let me tell y'all something. Do you all see this? Do you all smell that?
Victim in the news.
You can smell the outside through the screen, can't you? Can you smell outside? But I want you to know about the smelling of the outside of this open enemy. Y'all understand now why the Holy Writ in the Holy Quran refers to some of your enemies as open enemies? Watch this. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. More than just looking at him. Look. Do you know the reason why? I can tell you by the Spirit, I believe that he's defending these fellas. And he is not even trying to give a hint of being neutral. Is because you saw that footage of him, or you heard about him having that footage of them when he was at that event with them. Let me tell you why he's not. Because he been running his mouth with them white supremacists. They work together. They plotting together. He was involved in this very likely. He know he ain't gonna say too much crazy in public because he knows that they got information on him. They work together. You all are the only slow ones. That's the reason why I laugh at your boulets rolling and the rest of y'all that sit up there, Joy Reid and all them. Y'all get so excited because you know how to explain how white folks make you feel bad. And you get excited because you think you're so smart because you know a little bit of American history and you know how to tell white people how racist they've been for a long time in a nice and an acceptable way. And you get excited. We're telling you, fool, the whole damn system is guilty. They're working together. They're plotting together. And the reason why he's being very careful in what he says publicly is because he knows that if he says anything contrary to those guys, he knows that they have beers together. They go to each other's houses. They got too much information. They got inside information on this sheriff, and he ain't about to break protocol. Do you smell outside? More than smelling some outside. Can you smell the fact that they are serious about taking you out? And it's all the more reason why we need to get out. What I mean by get out, making our own neighborhood safe and decent places to live, teaching our own, raising our own, investing in black businesses, and removing ourselves and incubating ourselves from these white supremacists. Y'all play too much. I gotta go. Love you to pieces. I gotta keep it short, family. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. My name is Vicky Dillard. I'm typically here weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're back now live on FindMeQueenTV.com. We've missed you, but I'm glad we're back. I've got to go right now, family. Text the word Queens to 31996 so that you're able to receive phone notifications. Follow me on Twitter at Dillard Vicky. That's my last name first on Twitter. But follow me at Vicky X Dillard on Instagram. Vicky X Dillard on Instagram. And also, family, don't forget, be sure to sign up for Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Claude Anderson's Powernomics Mastermind at Powernomicsmasterclass.com. I believe it is. The link will be in the chat. And also, family, don't forget that you can still get the replay, my angel replay. God, it was intergalactic, amazing angel course, 2-hour angel course that I did a week ago. You can still get it at flynubianmastermind.com. One of the things that we discussed is it's written in holy text that there's a such thing as the tongue of angels and the tongue of men. I break down what the tongue of angels are. That's just one of several celestial codes that they gave me that I share. If you're interested in wanting to know what the tongue of angels are, baby, you don't want to miss that. I'm giving you way more details than that about the times, your government, and not only an activation for these celestial energies, but also an understanding and the need for why they're making themselves known. Somebody talk black to me. The link is in the chat, flynubianmastermind.com. Just one thing I break down, the secrets of what the tongue of angels are that's written. If I have not, about the tongue of angels and the tongue of men, I break down what the tongue of angels are. It is amazing. And no, you're not going to get that information from no Bible bookstore, baby. I got that by direct revelation. Y'all play too much. Breaking down that magic book, breaking down that powerful magic book, and not from a religious context, from a spiritual context that makes meaning and makes a difference in your life here and now. I cannot wait to see you at Vicky X Dillard. Thank those of you that gave to my Cash App. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. And those of you that are supporting the network and our affiliates. I love you.